time has come. All nations, all the means of communications, the Church of Jesus Christ, gather to hear the ruler of the Gentiles, one who died, was resurrected, and returned to life. He has returned. The Lord is here. José Luis de Jesús Miranda, the man Christ Jesus.
Hello, Blessed. Today's topic is examples of the Old Covenant. And now, the man Christ Jesus.
Blessed with all blessing. Today's topic is the stories and examples that are in the Old Covenant for us. And someone might ask, Apostle, but that's the Old Covenant. Yes, it is the Old Covenant, and there is a new covenant which we go by. But what I'm trying to say is that there's examples there. Like the wise master builder says, we are always submitted to the Pauline message. Look how it says in the first letter of Corinthians chapter 10, verse 6. Now these things became our examples, not examples, plural, for us, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted, and do not become idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Nor let us commit sexual immorality, as some of them did, and in one day 23,000 fell. Woof, in one day. Nor let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed by serpents. Nor complain, as some of them also complained and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now all these things happened to them as examples, and they were written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. Therefore, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. Not lose his salvation, but fall. He that thinks that is firm, maintain your thoughts, very organized, so that you will not fall in such an example of disobedience. This morning, I was reading the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis. And I was reading it because Liz loves this story. She has always told me that as a small child, from there, that's how God started to form the fear of God in Liz. And she would ask her mom to read stories to her of the Old Covenant. And once Liz started to learn, she started reading herself. And these stories are filled with the behavior of a clean faith, a beautiful faith. So then I was reading how Joseph was in jail. Pharaoh in Egypt put him in jail, and how the chief butler, the one that would serve the wine to the king, and also the chief baker, the one that would serve the bread, were both in jail because of some behavior that they had. And there they met Joseph. And there in jail, in the prison where Joseph was, the next day they got up because they had a dream and they were very worried. And Joseph told them, what's wrong? What's going on? Why are you like that? No, it's that we had a dream. And Joseph said, God interprets dreams. Tell me your dream. Seems like Joseph knew that he had a great connection with God. He came out of jail to reign. And not everyone that's in jail stays in jail. You can come out of there, and from there, God has big purposes with you. Just like with me. I was in jail, and I came out to reign. As soon as I came out to find myself with spiritual things until this day. So then the chief butler spoke. Let me see. Genesis 41 verse 9. Then the chief butler spoke to Pharaoh, saying, I remember my faults this day, when Pharaoh was angry with his servants and put me in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, both me and the chief baker. We each had a dream in one night, he and I. Each of us dreamed according to the interpretation of his own dream. And look at what he told Pharaoh. Now there was a young Hebrew man with us there, a servant of the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. To each man he interpreted according to his own dream, and it came to pass just as he interpreted for us. So it happened. He restored me to my office, and he hanged him. The Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon. And he shaved, changed his clothing, and came to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. But I have heard it said of you that you can understand a dream to interpret it. So Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, in my dream I stood on the bank of the river. Suddenly 7 cows came up out of the river, fine looking and fat, and they fed in the meadow. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and very ugly and gaunt, such ugliness as I have never seen in all the land of Egypt. Well, after all, to make this story short, Joseph interpreted that dream to Pharaoh. And as soon as he interpreted it, he explained to him the meaning of it, that a time of prosperity was coming for 7 years. So then Joseph gave the president of Egypt, the Pharaoh, gave him instructions. So then I wrote various notes here. And it's that difficult times are coming. We're speaking now. These are examples for us now. Difficult times are coming on the earth. And just like Joseph was lifted in all the land, just like that, but with a more excellent glory, this server, the man Christ Jesus, will be transformed and will govern on all the earth. And not just that, but the same leaders, the pharaohs of this century, they will need to render and say, we have found wisdom in this ministry, in the man Christ Jesus. If over there in the law, imagine, they saw the Lord's hand manifested. Imagine in this covenant that has a greater glory. So then our work in the Lord is not in vain. It will be until a next occasion where we will continue giving instructions of the things that are to come very soon on the face of the earth. Let's be aware, lift our heads, and doing like we need to do, functioning, working responsibly, redeeming well the time, and being faithful with all the things that the Lord puts in our hands, blessed with all blessing. I love you very much.
I know wherever I go, your covering protects me.